If tomorrow we received absolute proof that we are alone in the universe, no signals, no microbes, no distant civilizations, just silence stretching endlessly across space, would that be comforting or terrifying? For decades, we have searched the cosmos believing that life must be out there somewhere, hidden beneath alien oceans or orbiting distant stars. But what if the universe is not waiting to answer us? What if the greatest discovery we ever make is that no one else was ever there to discover us? This question does not just change astronomy. It changes what it means to be human. And once you truly think about it, there is no turning back. In this video, you will discover why scientists expected life to be common in the universe, what decades of searching have actually revealed, how the possibility of cosmic loneliness challenges our understanding of existence, and why finding nothing at all may be the most profound discovery humanity could ever face. Welcome to Where the Light Ends, a place where space grows silent, light fades, and the universe begins to reveal its darkest secrets. For most of human history, the idea that we might not be alone in the universe felt almost impossible to accept. Look up at the night sky, and you see billions of stars, and beyond them, billions of galaxies, each containing billions more. The sheer scale of the cosmos seems to demand company. It feels intuitive, almost emotionally necessary, that somewhere out there, life must have emerged again and again, following the same chemical rules that shaped us. This belief did not come from science fiction alone. It came from science itself. As we learned how life formed on Earth, many scientists became convinced that life should be common, perhaps even inevitable, wherever the conditions were right. But that assumption, powerful as it is, rests on something deeply fragile, a sample size of exactly one. Life on Earth appeared relatively early in our planet's history, almost as soon as conditions stabilized enough to allow liquid water to exist. To many researchers, this seemed like strong evidence that life emerges easily. If it happened so quickly here, why not elsewhere? This reasoning shaped decades of exploration. Telescopes were built, probes were launched, and vast scientific programs were designed around a quiet expectation. Sooner or later, we would find something. A microbe on Mars, a strange chemical signature in an alien atmosphere, a radio signal that could not be explained by nature alone, not necessarily intelligent beings, not cities or spacecraft, just proof that life had happened somewhere else too. Yet year after year, the universe remained silent. To understand why this silence is so unsettling, we need to look at what scientists expected to find and why those expectations made so much sense at the time. In the mid-20th century, astronomers began discovering that stars like our sun were not rare. As telescopes improved, it became clear that planets were not exceptions either. Nearly every star in the sky appears to host planets, many of them rocky, many of them located in regions where liquid water could exist. These regions became known as habitable zones, and for a while, the idea of habitability felt almost interchangeable with the idea of life. If a planet had water, energy, and the right chemistry, life should follow. Or so we thought. This confidence led to equations designed to estimate how many civilizations might exist in our galaxy. While the numbers varied wildly, the underlying message was the same. Even conservative assumptions often led to large results. Thousands, millions, entire galaxies buzzing with life. Against that backdrop, the absence of evidence started to feel strange, then uncomfortable, and finally alarming. We listened for radio signals across vast stretches of space. We scanned the skies for artificial patterns. We studied Mars, Europa, Enceladus, Titan, and countless exoplanets. And yet, nothing definitive appeared. No unambiguous biosignatures, no clear technological fingerprints, just ambiguous hints that always seemed to dissolve under closer inspection. At first, this lack of results was easy to explain away. Maybe our instruments were too weak. Maybe we were listening on the wrong frequencies. Maybe alien civilizations simply did not use radio waves, or maybe they existed millions of years ago and were already gone. These explanations were reasonable, even comforting, because they preserved the underlying belief that life was common. The silence did not mean absence, it meant limitation. We were still beginners, learning how to listen properly. But as decades passed and our tools grew more powerful, that excuse began to wear thin. Each new discovery expanded our reach, yet the universe did not respond. This growing tension gave rise to one of the most disturbing questions in modern science. What if the universe really is empty of life beyond Earth? Not just empty of intelligent civilizations, but empty of life altogether. No microbes beneath alien ice, no living chemistry in distant oceans, no second Genesis anywhere we can see. This possibility forces us to confront something deeply uncomfortable. Maybe life is not an inevitable outcome of chemistry. Maybe it is an extraordinary fluke, a near miracle that happened once and only once, under a very specific and fragile set of conditions. If that is true, then the early appearance of life on Earth may not mean life is easy. It may mean we were incredibly lucky. A rare roll of cosmic dice that happened to come up in our favor. From this perspective, the silence of the universe is not mysterious at all. It is exactly what we should expect if the odds of life emerging are astronomically low. In such a universe, billions of planets could exist, all perfectly lifeless, while a single world, ours, briefly blooms with biology before eventually falling silent again. This idea radically reframes our place in the cosmos. For centuries, science has steadily removed humanity from the center of existence. We are not at the center of the solar system. The solar system is not at the center of the galaxy. The galaxy is not special among galaxies. Each step diminished our cosmic importance while expanding our understanding. But a lifeless universe does something strange. It recenters us not as rulers or chosen beings, but as a fragile exception. In a universe otherwise indifferent and empty, life on Earth becomes unimaginably precious. Yet this realization carries a heavy psychological weight. Many people find comfort in the idea that we are part of a vast community of life, even if we have never met it. The possibility that others exist makes the universe feel less cold, less lonely. If we are truly alone, that emotional safety net disappears. The cosmos becomes a place without witnesses, without shared experience, without parallel stories unfolding elsewhere. Everything we care about, every thought, every emotion, every work of art exists on a single fragile world orbiting an unremarkable star. This is why the search for life has always been about more than science. It is also about meaning. Finding life elsewhere would tell us that existence is generous, that the universe has a tendency to create complexity, awareness, and perhaps even consciousness wherever it can. Finding nothing tells a very different story. It suggests that the universe is capable of producing life, but only under the most extreme and unlikely circumstances. In that story, we are not the norm. We are the anomaly. Some scientists argue that we should not be surprised by this possibility at all. They point out that we do not yet understand how life actually began on Earth. We know the chemistry of living systems, but we do not know how non-living molecules cross the threshold into biology. That transition may require conditions so specific that they almost never occur. It may involve rare events, precise timing, or environments that exist for only brief windows in a planet's history. If even one of these steps fails, the entire chain collapses. A planet may remain lifeless forever, no matter how Earth-like it appears from afar. In this view, the universe may be filled with worlds that look promising, but are ultimately sterile. Oceans without metabolism, atmospheres without biology, landscapes shaped by physics alone, never touched by evolution. We may look at these planets and see potential, but nature may see only dead ends. If that is the case, then our long search has not failed. It has been revealing the truth slowly and painfully, that life is not written into the fabric of the universe. It is an exception, not a rule. This possibility also forces us to confront our own future. If life is rare, then extinction takes on a new meaning. When a species disappears on Earth, something is lost forever, but life as a whole continues. If humanity were to disappear in a lifeless universe, something far greater would be lost. The only known beings capable of reflecting on the universe, of understanding it, of asking questions about meaning and existence, would vanish. The universe would not notice. The stars would continue to burn. Galaxies would collide. But awareness itself might be gone. This thought is unsettling because it places an immense responsibility on our shoulders. If we are alone, then everything matters more. Our mistakes are not balanced by successes elsewhere. Our cruelty is not diluted by kindness on distant worlds. Our achievements are not mirrored by alien civilizations following similar paths. We are it. The entire experiment of conscious life may be happening only once. Here, now, briefly. As our instruments continue to improve and our searches grow more sensitive, the silence grows louder. Each null result adds weight to the possibility that the universe is empty of life beyond Earth. This does not mean the search is over. It means the stakes are higher than we ever imagined. We are not just looking for neighbors. We are testing a fundamental assumption about reality itself. Is life a cosmic inevitability or a fragile accident balanced on the edge of improbability? This is the question that defines the search for life beyond Earth, and it is only the beginning of what the silence may be trying to tell us. If the universe truly contains no life beyond Earth, then the silence we observe is not just an absence of evidence. It is a message about how reality works. To understand what that message might be, scientists have been forced to rethink some of their deepest assumptions, not only about biology, but about probability, time, and our place in cosmic history. The question shifts from "where is everyone?" to something far more unsettling. Why was there ever anyone at all? One of the most influential ideas to emerge from this dilemma is the concept of the Great Filter. This is the idea that somewhere along the path from lifeless matter to intelligent, technological civilization, there exists a step so difficult, so unlikely, that almost nothing ever passes it. The universe may be filled with planets, and many of them may even resemble Earth in their basic properties, but nearly all of them fail at some critical stage. They never develop life, or life never becomes complex, or intelligence never emerges, or technology never survives long enough to be noticed. What makes the Great Filter so disturbing is not just its existence, but its location. If the filter lies behind us, in our distant past, then humanity is extraordinarily lucky. It would mean that the hardest steps, the rarest miracles, have already happened. The emergence of life itself, or the leap from simple cells to complex organisms, may be the true bottleneck. In that case, the silence of the universe is a sign of our uniqueness, not our impending doom. We made it through what almost nothing else could. But there is a darker possibility. The filter may lie ahead of us. It may be that life commonly arises, that intelligence is not especially rare, but that civilizations inevitably destroy themselves before they can spread beyond their home worlds or leave lasting traces. In this scenario, the silence is not comforting at all. It is a warning. Other civilizations may have reached our level of development, looked out into the universe with hope, and then vanished, leaving no signal, no monument, no memory. If this is true, then our current moment in history becomes uniquely dangerous. For the first time, humanity possesses the power to alter the planet irreversibly. Nuclear weapons, climate change, artificial intelligence, and biotechnology all represent tools that could either secure our long-term survival or bring it to an abrupt end. The universe may be silent because civilizations tend to fail at exactly this stage, when their technological power outpaces their wisdom. The unsettling part is that we have no way to know which version of the Great Filter is real. We cannot rewind cosmic history and observe alternative outcomes. We cannot easily detect extinct civilizations that left no durable signatures. All we can do is look outward and listen. And so far, the universe has offered no reassurance. The absence of life also forces scientists to confront a more fundamental problem: the nature of life itself. Despite decades of research, we still do not have a complete theory of how life begins. We know the ingredients, we know the chemistry, but the transition from non-living matter to a self-sustaining, evolving system remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in science. If that transition requires a chain of extremely improbable events, then the emergence of life may be far rarer than we ever imagined. This would explain why even seemingly perfect environments might remain lifeless. A planet can have liquid water, energy sources, and complex chemistry for billions of years, and still never cross the threshold into biology. From afar, such a world would look alive with possibility. Up close, it would be utterly barren. In this light, Earth begins to look less like a typical example and more like an outlier, a cosmic anomaly that slipped through a sequence of near-impossible steps. Time also plays a crucial role in this picture. The universe is vast, but it is not infinitely old. Stars form, burn, and die. Planets cool. Habitable conditions appear and disappear. There may be narrow windows during which life can arise, and those windows may not overlap across different worlds. Even if life does emerge elsewhere, it may do so millions or billions of years before or after us. Two civilizations could exist in the same galaxy and still never coexist in time. This means the silence we observe today does not necessarily imply eternal loneliness. It may simply reflect a mismatch in timing. We may be early or we may be late. Humanity could be among the first intelligent species to arise, or among the last. Either possibility carries profound implications. If we are early, then the universe's future may one day be filled with life, and we are the pioneers. If we are late, then the silence may be the echo of a universe that once teemed with life and has already moved on. The psychological impact of these ideas cannot be overstated. Humans are storytelling creatures. We understand ourselves through narratives, and for centuries, one of our most powerful stories has been that we are part of something larger. A cosmic ecosystem, a universe that produces life naturally and abundantly. The possibility that this story is false forces a kind of existential reckoning. We may not be characters in a crowded universe. We may be the entire cast. This realization reshapes how we think about value and meaning. In a universe full of life, individual worlds and civilizations can seem interchangeable, parts of a vast pattern. In a lifeless universe, everything that happens on Earth takes on cosmic significance. Every culture, every species, every act of creation or destruction becomes part of the universe's only known experiment with awareness. Even suffering looks different through this lens. Pain, injustice, and cruelty are often framed as local tragedies within a vast and indifferent cosmos. But if we are alone, then these experiences are not local at all. They are the universe's only experiences of suffering. Likewise, love, beauty, curiosity, and compassion are not small, fleeting things. They are the universe's only moments of meaning. This perspective does not make the silence easier to accept. If anything, it makes it heavier. The search for life beyond Earth becomes inseparable from questions about responsibility. If we are the only conscious beings in the observable universe, then the survival of intelligence depends entirely on us. The universe will not correct our mistakes. There is no backup civilization waiting to rediscover physics, art, or philosophy if we fail. As scientists continue to search for biosignatures and technosignatures, they are not just gathering data. They are probing the boundaries of a terrifying possibility: that consciousness is rare to the point of near non-existence. That awareness flickers briefly in the darkness and then goes out. The silence may be telling us that life does not get many chances. Yet even in this bleak interpretation, something remarkable emerges. The fact that we exist at all, that matter has organized itself into beings capable of questioning their own rarity, is extraordinary beyond measure. Whether the universe is empty or simply quiet, we are here now, thinking, wondering, listening. And that alone may be enough to give meaning to the search, even if it ultimately leads nowhere. If we ultimately discover that we are alone, the final and perhaps most difficult question is not scientific at all. It is human. What do we do with that knowledge? How does a civilization live when it realizes that it may be the universe's only witness? This realization would not arrive as a single moment of shock, but as a slow, heavy understanding that settles over generations. The search would continue, instruments would improve, and yet the answer would remain the same. Silence. And eventually we would have to accept what that silence means. One possible response is despair. A lifeless universe can feel cold, indifferent, even hostile. Without other civilizations to compare ourselves to, humanity may begin to feel insignificant, trapped on a small planet in an endless void. The idea that no one else will ever know our stories, our struggles, or our triumphs can drain meaning from existence if we are not careful. For some, the absence of cosmic companionship might make everything feel temporary and fragile to the point of futility. But there is another way to understand our situation, one that transforms loneliness into responsibility. If we are alone, then consciousness is not something the universe produces casually. It is something rare and delicate, something that depends on countless unlikely events aligning just right. In that case, our existence is not meaningless at all. It is profoundly meaningful precisely because it is so improbable. We are not insignificant. We are exceptional in the most literal sense of the word. This shift in perspective changes how we think about progress and survival. In a universe full of life, extinction is tragic but not final. Life goes on elsewhere. In a lifeless universe, extinction becomes absolute. If humanity were to disappear, awareness itself might vanish with us. The stars would still shine, galaxies would still collide, but no one would be there to understand or care. The universe would continue, but it would be empty of meaning. This realization reframes many of humanity's long-standing debates. Questions about environmental destruction, technological risk, and global cooperation suddenly carry cosmic weight. Protecting the planet is no longer just about preserving resources for future generations. It is about preserving the only known home of consciousness. Avoiding self-destruction is no longer just a moral or political issue. It is a responsibility to the universe itself, if such a responsibility can be said to exist. Even exploration takes on a new tone in this context. If we are alone, then spreading beyond Earth becomes more than ambition. It becomes preservation. Every colony, every self-sustaining habitat, every step toward becoming a multi-planet species reduces the risk that a single catastrophe could end the entire experiment of intelligent life. Space exploration stops being about conquest or curiosity alone. It becomes an act of stewardship. There is also a quiet beauty in this idea. If the universe has produced life only once, then life is not just a product of physical laws. It is their most delicate expression. Conscious beings become the way the universe knows itself. Through us, the cosmos becomes aware of its own existence. When we study distant galaxies or unravel the laws of physics, it is not just human curiosity at work. It is the universe, through us, trying to understand itself. This perspective does not require optimism in the traditional sense. It does not promise that things will be easy or that humanity will succeed. It simply recognizes that meaning does not have to come from abundance. Scarcity can create value. Rarity can create purpose. A universe filled with life might be rich in stories, but a universe with a single story makes that story infinitely precious. Culture, art, science, and empathy all take on new significance in a silent universe. They are no longer local expressions of a species among many. They are the universe's only expressions of creativity and understanding. When we compose music, write poetry, or explore the nature of reality, we are doing something that may never happen anywhere else. Every act of creation becomes a small rebellion against cosmic silence. Even our flaws look different in this light. Humanity is not a perfect species. We are violent, divided, and often short-sighted. But we are also capable of reflection, growth, and change. If we are alone, then these capacities matter more than ever. There is no external benchmark for intelligence or morality. We define what it means to be a thinking species in an otherwise lifeless universe. In the end, finding nothing may be the most powerful discovery of all. Not because it answers our questions, but because it forces us to ask better ones. What kind of universe do we want to create within the only corner of existence that can care? What kind of legacy do we want to leave if there is no one else to leave it to? These questions do not come from fear. They come from responsibility. The silence of the cosmos does not tell us that we are alone for no reason. It tells us that existence has placed something fragile and extraordinary in our hands. Whether we rise to that responsibility or fail beneath it will not be judged by the universe. It will be defined by us. When I think about the possibility that we might be alone, it doesn't make the universe feel empty to me. It makes it feel intimate. Every human thought, every emotion, every mistake and breakthrough suddenly matters more, not less. If consciousness exists only here, then protecting life, knowledge, and curiosity becomes the most important mission we could ever have. We are not just exploring space for answers. We are deciding whether awareness itself gets to continue. This is where the light ends. Thank you for watching. And remember, some questions are meant to remain unanswered.